Hello everyone and welcome back to Ash of God's Redemption. Let's just continue where we left off. And we are back with our dear Thorn Brenin. Let's check in with the crew. It seems everyone knows that Hode is no simple warrior, however nobody treats him with special reverence or servility. I'd say that's a good thing. What are you going to do, Your Highness? Huh? Oh, stop with Your Highness. I'm Hode. As for what to do, that's your decision. You're the eldest in the squad, not me. Why did you choose Albius? My father made the choice. Do you think that a crown prince's only son just leaves the palace whenever he pleases? Albius is a quiet place, close to Girana, and there's hope that nobody finds out. Could they have recognized you elsewhere? Sop and I traveled through Oda, got recognized 5 times or so, wriggled our way out somehow. I traveled around all of Burkana with my father, Raidona, Perta, Isana, Odala. We even reached the Great Abyss. What can you seek in the Great Abyss? It stretches across the distant side of the Milky Mountains. Nothing but smoke and poison there. Call it what it is, an abyss. You haven't been reading the old manuscripts thoroughly, Thorn. This abyss appeared during the last reaping. It's a wonder that our world wasn't completely torn apart. So, you'll see. Many dynasties were snuffed out during that reaping. Did the burgomaster know about you? He had a cage of Ursa's messenger pigeons in the town hall. I didn't know him, but my father mentioned him once. You joined the regiment for a reason, too. How does this concern me? I've spent 3 years in Albius. You didn't think about leaving your parents' patronage behind 3 years ago, did you? Were you just lazing away in the palace of Girana? Yeah, in the courtyard of the barracks with a stick and sandbags. A prince's lot may be better than that of a waterman's son, but it's not easy. What's the chance that led you to become the patron of the regiment, you think? I've been employed by the regiment for 3 years, though the royal treasury just started paying me for my service a year ago. Oh, blessed gods. Are you my benefactor? Son of a demon, it seems like everything comes at a price. How does it feel to be the only heir? It's better to be a soldier of Albius' regiment. Until they throw you on someone else's blade. This is the heaviest burden to set upon royal shoulders. It's good if the king remembers it, Hode. I will remember, Thorn. Maybe that's why I'm here. Alright, sorry for bothering you. I'm sorry for bothering you. You have a daughter to save, a precious jewel. You'd better not tell her that. She won't care that you're a prince. Comparing her to a fine blade is another matter. That's right, a precious blade. This dark-skinned lad's grief must be driving him mad. He's constantly muttering. Hey. What are you muttering, Ramlin? I'm not muttering anything. I'm repeating my grandmother's enchantments. What are those enchantments about? About healing, about leg weakness, about a clear mind and sound memory, about fuzzy heads and forgetfulness, cowardice and weakness, bravery and strength. My grandmother knew many spells. Knowledge and control are not the same thing. Maybe she did. I don't know everything. You need power, the right mindset, and nimble fingers for that. Why must you move your fingers? Is enchanting like weaving woolen cloth? Those who have the sight can not only spot such a web, but also weave their own, spinning a thread and braiding it to a secret purpose, woven and spun, the enchantment serves this special purpose. That's how it works. Did your grandmother teach you much? She taught me everything she knew. It's not enough to teach someone, though. You must be like a stone. You can spend a lifetime trying to learn how, but it's almost impossible. Are you talking about the gift that only a few possess? Why didn't your grandmother protect herself when Ansys came to her village? She could have sung the right tune. She could have at least weakened their stance. She was very old and almost blind. She must have not seen them. Probably stayed at home until one of those Enses killed her with a flying blade. Maybe just for fun. Yes, that's how it happens. There are times when great wisdom and experience fall in the face of a tiny, very sharp death. So you need to weave the enchantments? It's done differently. You can sing, brew potions, dance like a mad dervish. You can dress the wounds with stones. Everyone does it differently. I'm a weaver, but some things I can do by snapping my fingers. Are you talking nonsense? I mean, dressing wounds with stones? Acons do that. They say that it's the way strength and bravery are passed to warriors of the present day. My grandmother told me about this too. Your grandmother was wise, Ramlin. Did she have a hard life? My grandfather brought my grandmother here from the Vandal Islands. She told me that when he died, she started building a house. She mixed clay with manure and straw. She dragged stones around. It kept her from going mad. My grandmother used to say that even if you don't know where to go, just keep moving. If you don't have a clear goal, you need to take steps that don't lead you into the abyss. Neither taking steps nor having the right goal saved her or us from the abyss, because the abyss came from above. Well, it'll be time to go soon. Maybe my enchantments will be useful to you? You'll surely be useful, if you don't run into battle ahead of me, that is. Sop still can't leave his dark thoughts behind. It would be better to rile him up. Why so sad, Sop? Have you lost the commander's scepter? I hope I don't lose my head. Are you here to cheer me up or make me take the watch? The watch is already posted. You're not a woman to be comforted. That's for sure. The second master of personal royal bodyguards of Jirana. I'm nicknamed the Deadly Battle Sack for my leanness and litheness. Or lack thereof. Funny, eh? Not really. At least you can understand me. Jokes aside, I was selected from the best 200 warriors of Jirana to guard the prince. Prince Trig himself was choosing a defense man. Well, there were about 5 other lads, but Hode decided to keep me. Why did Hode like you? He said that he didn't need a sycophant, shaking with the desire to please. He needed a helper, a fellow to ask for advice or to play tricks on. I'm a street child, and I guess the prince found my skills most useful. So, how old are you exactly? Not 18, I confess. Add 5 more, you're on the money. Hode, on the other hand, was honest about his age. I'm telling you, he'll be a great warrior at my age. Well, if nothing bad happens. I hope that the gods will protect us from new misfortunes. Do you know what will cause the greatest misfortune if we don't keep Hode safe? Trig, Hode's father, the crown prince. I can't even imagine what he's going to do to us. Everyone keeps saying that the old king is cruel. Just wait, they will remember him kindly. The king of Jirana is old, so you say the next ruler will be a cruel and heavy-handed slaughterman? Why did Trig let his son go to Albius? They're cut from the same cloth. They'll both have your guts for garters. Maybe that's how it should be with the throne. I can't think of many fellows more wise, dependable, and determined than Trig. Trust me on that, Thorn. I traveled all over Burkana and saw all the kings. Who are your parents, Sop? My parents are common folk. My father is a man of duty, watched over the main tower of Jera 5 years ago. He was proud of me. My mother is a fair trader. Her father sailed trade ship caravans from Baldar to Raidona. You have a great family, Sop. Pride in your parents is misguided, Captain. Were I born a bastard, it would change nothing. Take Hode, for example. You can sense royal blood, but he's an ordinary lad. Diamonds are more precious than gold even before they're cut. They're indistinguishable from other stones found near the mouth of a river, but they're extraordinary. Sure, that's why his guards bear such responsibility. Alright, keep your chin up. Things will work out. Keeping my chin up. I just hope I keep my head on my shoulders. That's how it goes. Trig isn't yet a king, to be sure, but he's already grabbed hold of everything. There's fear, but there's also something else. He looked in my eyes like you do now and said it. Don't let me down, Sop. Well, don't let him down then, Sop. I'm trying, Thorn. I also put my hope in you and your daughter. I think that Hode likes her, even though he keeps his distance. Maybe all of this will keep the prince safe somehow, don't you think? I don't know, Sop. There's nothing worse than guarding noblemen. No armor can save you from a well-fired arrow. No valor can save you from a rival army. There are worse things, Thorn. Dragging your daughter along. Haven't you noticed your companions all trying to protect her during battle? There's your diamond, and it's already been cut. Oh, Vi. The wandering monk is always praying. You wonder what he's asking of the gods.
Hey.
You weren't just playing around with your beads back at the Albius Menhir, were you, Vi? You've been holding a Strix. Who taught you this stuff? What's there to teach? Every monastery teaches their monks about the reaping and the means of protection. So what's the reaping, anyway? What makes you think the reaping is nigh? Someone told you, or was it your own idea? Obviously, it's the reaping. Those enses were the first sign of trouble. Who else would be wearing those masks? Then there was the Reaper's mark. Haven't seen the Reaper himself, but I recognized his rune right away. The reaping is divine retribution. That's what everybody says, at least. Obviously, you say. Seems like many have yet to realize what's happening, while the temple servants knew about it all along. And how long will the reaping last? The temple servants usually don't know much, and when they do, they prefer silence. When does a dog stop eating? When it's full. Same with the reaping. Once it's sated with corpses, it begins to fade. Sated? You talk about it as if it's some sort of beast. Maybe it's got a maw or something? The menhirs are basically the Reaper's mouths. All the healings are like tree sap. A tree gets its nutrients from the soil, while a menhir's soil is death and pain. This is converted into healing energy that helps others alleviate their pain. I learned everything about the sacred stones the time I tried to cure Leaky. Not one temple servant said anything even remotely close to the hogwash you're spewing now. Are you sure that this stuff about the menhirs isn't a kind of heresy? Not that it's heresy, it's just the temple isn't really fond of such talk amongst its servants. Not many draw that conclusion anyway. You have to dig up some really old scrolls to learn anything about it, after all. Say you're right, then what? It implies that for each person healed during peacetime, there are hundreds, if not thousands, exterminated during the reaping. Isn't it too much? If the menhirs are really like trees, where does all their sap go? There must be something else, but I didn't learn anything from the manuscripts. The high-ranking temple servants don't tell you anything. Just point their fingers skyward and say that only the gods know. I don't like it one bit. What kind of retribution exterminates the guilty and innocent alike? And if it's supposed to be a shared plight, what kind of gods would wish death upon all our kin? It's not the gods who wish for our demise. We call forth the reapers and plague with our misdeeds. Alright, I won't pester you any longer. It's alright. Of course, all the stuff in the books is quite dreadful. They say the reaping is akin to a harsh winter. Every creature should hibernate, and all the grass should perish so that they can be rejuvenated in the spring. Well, what if I'm not a creature but grass? Should I perish too?
Hey.
Doesn't seem like much of a concern. Just some fancy words from a couple of old temple books. We aren't going down that easy. Someone who is versed in languages or familiar with the temple scriptures could help you translate what you've found. You wonder who can translate these words. There's someone in your party who just might be able to help. I mean, either of them. He has said that he can read these things. But, I mean, he's a monk, so I would probably think that he would be able to do a better job because he has dedicated his life to it. So yeah, let's go with Vi. Vi finds the next bit challenging. It's tricky, this one. Parm is to run, and Hoxmarch translates as risk, but not in the literal sense. Altogether it reads, it's too late to run? Okay. Yeah, let's continue. Mushroom track. A mostly deserted road along barren land and the foul forest. Okay, well, it's the cheapest one. We're going over there. A dirt track used by the local shepherds that looks like a tangle of several paths winding around boulders and shrubs. Already broken and unkempt, but still a decent road traversing the desolate lands near the spurs of the Milky Mountains. I'm gonna go with the mushroom track. Yeah, let's go. You arrive at the Woodland Watch, where the Sinvicta brothers live. One of the local huntsmen is happy to point out the man you need, Mark Sinvicta. You strike up a conversation and ask about the word written on the Corpse Udder Tavern sign. Mark reveals that he and his brothers got the notorious tavern from a strange hag who called herself Sheila. She sold it to them for a single gold coin on the condition that the sign is not cleaned or changed. When the brothers gambled the deed away in Albius, it was mostly a relief. Turned out that the tavern was cursed, Mark concludes. We should have known that there's no such thing as a free lunch. We didn't profit. Innkeeping isn't really our specialty. We should have learned that the first time. Ask what the brothers' specialty is. For many years, Mark's family has hunted for ancient tablets, notes, and manuscripts for the Temple of Divine Retribution. His relatives rarely venture beyond the borders of Berkana because they always get a good haul within the Six Kingdoms. Ask what happened the first time. Chuckling, Mark recalls how he was talked into buying his first tavern by a beautiful dark-haired woman with eyes the color of barley brie. He had too much to drink, and when he came around, the deed was in his hand and his money was gone. Nobody looked after that tavern and nobody would buy it. It's probably ruined by now. Ask to see the deed. Mark considers and concludes that it's a valuable document after all. He won't just give it away. Offer money for the document? Mark considers and says that he could use some gold. Who couldn't? The document, however, is valuable. It'd cost you 500 gold. Sure. Mark takes his pay and briefly disappears into the house. He returns with a scroll. You take it and bid him farewell. Later, after leaving the house behind, you unroll the document and discover that Mark accidentally gave you 2 scrolls wrapped into one. The deed states that Mark owns the Drunken Hawk Tavern in the Highland Settlement, as long as he pays 1/10 of his income to the asylum in Hyborg. You try to remember the names of these places. 2 words are scribbled in red under the signature of the former owner. Yalpor and Harg. The second document contains details of Terminum's history. Read the extra scroll. The tattered parchment lists sightings of Ensis in the north of Terminum, along with the first inquisitors of the Temple of Divine Wrath. It also includes the following notes. Tibibar, elder among elders, Dorpkal, the cold one, Atrak, the hot one, Adna, the poisoned one, Childau, the fast one. Below are 3 bracketed names. Ananael Enai Koronson. I recognize that. Connected by lines to Tibibar. Keep the extra scroll. You cram the extra scroll into your saddlebag and ride on. We have Ursus Road. A decent dirt road that skirts impassable forests, but it may present a challenge on rainy days. And Barley Track. Why did they switch places? A well-trodden track used by all the local peasants. Sure. A roadside inn comes into view. Music and cooking smells emanate from within. The place seems overcrowded, but you stop. Your company desperately needs rest. A wandering bard strums a lute inside. He sings monotonously about some hero's wanderings. While your companions find seats, you notice the lyrics describe events much like your own adventures. Okay. I don't know if I trust this. Especially when the bard is basically singing about me. Or, well, Thorn. I mean, I would love to treat them, but... let's just do that. Take a short rest in the inn, camp outdoors for the night. You listen to the bard until he finishes the ballad, then you tell your companions to pack up. Who knows who frequents the inn? Probably safer to camp outdoors for the night. This decision disappoints your companions and makes the innkeeper openly hostile. The hope of sleeping indoors vanishes, as does the innkeeper's hope of profiting. You finish your dinner, and before you can rise from the table, an inebriated fat man lashes out at the bard. He claims that the bard has butchered and distorted a famous saga about a banner. The other guests try to reason with the drunk. If the song is good, they say, it's worth listening to. Suddenly, the inebriated pulls a dagger. Stun the drunken brawler? You approach the drunk brawler from behind and hit his head with a stool. He falls like a tree. You make sure that he's still alive and return to your seat. The regulars watch you in awe as the servants tie the unconscious man with a rope and drag him away. The innkeeper offers free accommodations and drinks as thanks for preventing bloodshed. It'd be stupid to turn down such a generous offer, so you stay at the inn for the night. Wow, he really changed his tune, didn't he? The bard is very grateful as thanks for saving his life. He plays the lute for you all evening. The innkeeper generously treats you to food and drink, and the regulars toast your brave deeds. After a good night's sleep, you continue your journey. The small feast has done much to lift your company's spirit. Good. Ah, yeah, we're up to 60. Nice. Why would we go up there? I mean, we need to go to Ursus, so yeah, let's just go to Ursus. Oh, we're gonna go to Ursus next time because I will be ending the video here. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider leaving a like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye!